Here are some of the parts that you will need to replace and refurbish your rear brakes. At the top is a pair of emergency brake shoes or parking brake shoes. These usually don't need to be replaced unless someone has been driving great distances with the parking brake engaged. Also shown are the rear pads and the accompanying retainer kit. The kit includes 2 new retainer springs and 4 pins that are used to hold the pads into the caliper. To remove the old pads, pull out the small pin retainers and tap out the retaining pins with a screwdriver and a small hammer. They should slide out pretty easily as there's usually no load on them. If there is much difficulty encountered during the removal process, then tap on the pads slightly to remove pressure from the pins. Pulling the pads out usually involves the use of a screwdriver for leverage. The pads are loose in the caliper, but it's a pretty tight fit, and there usually is a lot of dust and debris in the caliper. Wiggle the pads back and forth in order to pry them free. Before completely removing the pads, you can wedge a screwdriver between the pad and the disc and use it to compress the piston back into the caliper. Another method is to use a wooden or plastic handle to push the caliper pistons back in. Never use a screwdriver as you might damage some of the piston seals. Keep your eye on the fluid level in the master cylinder reservoir. It can overflow when you push back on the pistons. Don't forget to reinstall the small retaining clips for the pad retaining pins. The complete assembly should be carefully tested before you do any performance driving. Remember to pump the brakes to bring the pads back in contact with the rotor, and bed the brake pads according to the manufacturer of the pads that you purchased. Remember, it can take up to 100 miles to fully bed the new brake pads. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out another video in this series.